Hey everybody, it's Sarah from Spirit of Saturdays, and I have a slightly less sick webcam this week. Yay! Yeah, the other one's in bed sleeping, trying to get better. No, I think it's total. I'm gonna have to throw it out. Okay, so the topic Marlene and I have chosen for this week is dieting in the dieting industry. So, diets. I'm dead set against them. Dieting, the dieting industry, I'm even more dead set against. I just guess I'm really disappointed and a little bit frustrated that our society has managed to fabricate an industry basically on nothing, or on something that's not very substantiated. I mean, yes, it's a problem for many Americans and many people in the Northwestern Hemisphere, but I don't think that the issue, that we're focusing on the right issue. Basically the problem is, if you need to lose weight, that you consume too many calories for the amount that you're expending. And it's that simple. I didn't say it was easy, but it's simple. And any retard can tell you that. So I guess I'm saying that we don't really need an onslaught of methods on how to lose weight, and that we're focusing on the wrong issue, that we need to focus more on like self-discovery and soothing and therapy and that kind of thing, and healing, so that we don't need to use food as a coping mechanism. And it's essentially, unless you have a legitimate medical condition, or a medical condition of some sort, like hypothyroidism or something like that, and you have issues like that, unless you have that sort of, like, unless you're in that type of situation, you have issues with food. Like, basically it. I mean, there's such a spectrum of eating disorders, and some are the clinical eating disorders, and some are, a lot less severe in that they're not debilitating, and, they don't stop your life and interfere with it every day. But essentially it's it's the same thing as an eating disorder. You need to deal with that and learn to self-soothe other ways. We don't need lessons on how to restrict our food intake. I mean, that's easy enough for someone with 2 brain cells to rub together. I mean, the ways that we come up with are insane. Like, they're so ridiculous. I'm not even talking like the drink hot sauce one. I'm talking like legitimate, like, diets that are endorsed by some medical professionals. Like Weight Watchers. Are you really gonna sit there and count the fat grams and the carbohydrates and the protein for the rest of your life to come up with a point value for every single thing you eat? I really doubt it. And if you are, it's time to head off to therapy because you have some issues. That's not really something you're going to permanently do, I don't think. And or the glycemic index. There's a lot of science behind that, and I don't negate that science or attempt to refute it. But there's high index foods and low index foods, and it's not very user friendly. Like, I really like mashed potatoes. You're telling me that because it's a high index food, I can only have it once in a while? No. I eat mashed potatoes like 3 or 4 times a week. And I'm not going to stop eating mashed potatoes just because it's a high index food or a bad food. It's so backwards the way that we're doing this. Basically, we need to either restrict our food intake or expend more calories. I, for one, am on the I favor expending more calories, because many of us don't do that enough as it is. Like, there are people out there who do eat a lot. Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer who just, like, won 8 gold medals or whatever, eats like tens of thousands of calories a day. but he's got one of the most amazing bodies ever. Like, it's hot. And when I was swimming, I, like, regularly, competitively, I used to eat 3,000 or 4,000 calories a day too, and I weighed less than I do now. So it's not that we can't eat that much, it's that our activity has to compare to it. And if you think about it, it's so true. Like, in the olden days, we used to go eat porridge in the morning, go out, work in the field, come back, eat, like, soup and bread or something for lunch, and then work in the field again, and then come back, eat stew for supper, and go work in the field again. And now, we eat as much, possibly more, and we sit at a desk all day for 12 hours, and then we come home and watch TV or go on the internet or whatever like that. So that's our problem. Our problem is not that we're eating the wrong types of food. There is no wrong type of food. You know, yes, there are some that are calorically more dense than others, but there is no wrong type of food, in my opinion. And, you know, if you have an eating disorder, you really have to work on that, because if you have blacklist foods, and, you know, it's just an invitation to relapse. And, you know, it's just, we're just eating too much and not expending enough. And when by the way, when I say you in this video, I mean, like, collectively. There's a word in French that actually, I learned French first, and that talks about the collective you, rather than just, you know, I'm not talking about you specifically. Yeah. Anyway, there are some people who should not be on a diet, okay? Or who, if they decide to lose weight, need to do so under medical supervision. That's the other thing. The guidelines for, you know, healthy weight loss, you should not be losing more than 10% of your weight in a year. People lose way more than that, ever. You know, if you are diabetic, if you have a medical condition of any sort, you should be asking your doctor, or at least mentioning to your doctor that you're planning on doing this. If you have an eating disorder, or if you have a history of an eating disorder, you need to mention to your doctor that you're planning on doing this, and seek his guidance and that kind of thing. You know, if you have an eating disorder and it's active, you need to get rid of that first before you get rid of the weight. Otherwise, you're doing it backwards, and it's not going to work. And you're just begging for relapse.